Welcome to talking about automation of operations with AI. The current state is that network operations is just burning millions of dollars as our customers' expectations continue to soar. Service providers no longer have the money dedicated towards reactive operations. Software needs to feed itself. There are no more multi-million dollar budgets for consulting to grow your installation anymore. What can you do better to drive network quality with fewer dollars? So service providers need high-quality collection, accurate correlation, and dynamic automation with a human in the loop. AI enables the self-service so that software can drive the outcome itself. I like to think of it as Tesla's self-drive for your network. This is why Raypax exists, and our goal is to drive better automation outcomes for service providers. The problem is lack of automation for operations. Millions of dollars are being spent annually for telecoms to invest in traditional network monitoring, requiring a ton of people to manage. That 24/7 manual monitor means that your best high-quality engineers are constantly watching for network problems. This is incredible poor use of high-talent labor. The hours that it takes to reactively respond means that a human has to compile all the knowledge of your network before making actions. That is something best left up to computers. The cost model of legacy solutions is also what is broken, so software license requires a very expensive upfront investment. The maintenance and hosting and ongoing technical support costs money as well. Then you have the administration and the constant training for these specialized personnel that manage the software. And then lastly, you have the consulting and integration costs. Every time a major conversion comes out, a new vendor that requires their own element manager. All of these require months and months of man-hours yearly to keep up. Then you have the entire evolution of your network management, how things work today compared to how they work in the past. In the past, we called it management. Everybody had a NOC, and then the people who were in the NOC were the ones that provided the value for operations. A tool just enhanced the productivity of those people, and it was all about finding problems when they happened and trying to fix them, whereas today things are more like observability. Everybody has a service operations center. The network only matters to the services and customers that it serves. The value is in the service and the offering, and the tool drives the productivity of the network. And everything is run upon being proactive, understanding what happens before it happens. Now, the problem with this is that, again, it requires a lot of specialized knowledge, and that specialized knowledge is getting harder and harder to find, harder and harder to maintain. And we have a lot of high-quality people retiring every day. The future, we believe, is an AI native, so that your best and brightest are focused on growing the network and adding scale, and that the scale of your network is what the value of the network is going to be. The tool then becomes the productivity, and that being automated, especially when it comes down to managing and monitoring your network, is the most important thing. Now, this is where Raypax comes into play. It is that AI native difference. So you're going to have virtual NOC assistants that are constantly monitoring the network. They're the ones that are alerting your smart engineers that they discovered a problem and this is what needs to be done. Or there are the customer service. So they're the ones reaching out to customers and saying, hey, we've noticed these problems. This is what needs to be done. Or we're working on it, and it should take this amount of time to resolve. Essentially keeping customers from calling in and tying up your high-quality assets. The workflow automation. This is automatically optimizing how problems are detected in your network, how they're isolated, and what should be done to fix them and who should be doing it, and getting to those people and making sure that they're fixing the network. Being surgical in your use of resources to maximize the value of your resources and minimize your costs. Automating integrations. Being able to seamlessly dovetail the data that you have on your network or the network itself with the automation platform. Using AI to automatically build those integrations provides the value that the consulting dollars have been spent in traditional approaches. Last time, it is the real-time intelligence. Being able to know what's going on your network whenever and wherever you may be is important to the future of a lights-out NOC. So let's talk with an understanding and a network use case that you may have yourself or something similar. So let's talk about fiber to the home. So this is what fiber to the home looks like logically. You will have a fiber optic ring that will connect up all the different neighborhoods and provide internet access to each one of those neighborhoods. It is your backhaul for fiber to the home, and it connects up an OADM up to what's called an OLT, and that is where the central office would be that would connect up a neighborhood to this ring. Then on the houses or the businesses themselves, there will be an ONT that converts that fiber into electrical, that Ethernet signal so that people can access their internet. So, with an understanding of how this logically maps out, let's talk a little bit about it physically. This is what an ONT looks like attached to a house. Now, these ONTs are connected up into a fiber bundle in the neighborhood, connecting up to a patch panel called an ODN. And that ODN relays back to the OLT in the central office you could see in the bottom right. And what a fiber node looks like out in the field, you could see in the bottom left. And connecting up those locations, you may have a fiber repeater in the middle. So now that you have a good understanding of how that works, let's talk a little bit about how Raypax sees this type of offering. So first you can see this is the core features of Raypax. You're going to have a console, you're going to have a device view, you're going to have a service explorer, you're going to have access to those AI assistants to help you do what needs to be done. You may have a geospatial network map, certainly help a knowledge base to jump in and understand what's going on. And then lastly, having a network topology graph. So with these key features and user interfaces, you can jump into what the inventory looks like. So this is an example of what may be coming from your systems at the orchestration or provisioning level, but at the very least, you'll have something like this from a billing. And what Raypax does is leverage this information, consolidate it so that we layer a foundation of network understanding used for the automation that you're going to see here. With that layer of an understanding, we could start showing what that looks like. So in the top left, you could see the geospatial map and the individual houses here that have the ONTS attached. And if you click on one of those, you could see its current state, its physical location, either its physical address and GPS, the vendor and model information on this. And then you can drill down in. You could look at whatever faults are driving those alerts. You can look at the topology of it. You could see that in the bottom left, and then you can see what kind of services are being driven from this particular device. So Adonna Scott has Platinum Residential Service. Here's her information. Here's where she's set up. This is what her billing information is. And then the dependencies in the bottom let you know these are the 3 things that drive whether or not that service is considered up. This is the level of network understanding needed by an operation automation platform like Raypax. Now, once you have this basis of information, then you could talk about layering in the real-time information, the fault and performance that's being collected in your environment with telemetry. And this is an example of the kind of information that we would be seeing. Now, you most likely already have element managers or network managers that have this kind of data. But either it's from the device, which we can do at Raypax, or collecting from the element and network management. The point is, this is how your operations currently knows what's going on. Everyone collects this information, so it's just a matter of pulling it in. And Raypax has AI capabilities to adapt the software to collect this information. Apply it and use that network understanding to make smart decisions of what's important and what can safely be ignored. The results are in these screenshots. In the top left, you could see a console view that shows the alerts, and you can drill down in these alerts. You can clear it, you can open ticket, you can see tickets, you can see the correlation that's going on to understand what's going on. But it's already creating this level of correlation and intelligence based upon the understanding of what has been brought in from a topology and service perspective. You can see in the far right the availability and performance information that are being collected. And all of that is uniquely integrated across the board so that everything is shown from a visibility perspective. And this is how Raypax does the magic that it does. So let's talk a little bit about that. And here's a very rudimentary drawing where you have the network service orchestrator that has the provisioning and billing information. You have the network element managers that are collecting the data. And this is where the software is adaptive, where AI is being used to build these connectors to funnel this data into Raypax. Once that data is funneled in, we see that 5 nines of data reduction. So most of the information that you run into, it's kind of like a needle in a haystack. And what Raypax is doing here, using this information, is being that magnet to be able to pull out the root causes and get it to your network engineers. Whether this be Slack, SMS, or voice, Wherever they are growing your network, scaling your network, we can alert them and say, hey, this is what's going on. This is what needs to be done. And hopefully, all we need is your approval and we'll just fix it for you. But it keeps that human in the loop so that your qualified, talented resources have access to that information and can make those decisions, the final decision, and then also getting outage information out to customers or customer notification platforms, or providing a web chat so that customers can find out what's going on, or for your executives or your partners to be able to log in and see what's going on. Rapax really has this unique blend of adaptive software for the integration side and off-the-shelf software for the consumption side to provide that turnkey value and expert customization blend that you need for your unique network needs. Now, in action, you could see here with this event stream, imagine we're connecting up to a bus, and in that bus we are posting, here's what's going on. Here are the root causes. Here are the service impacts. Now, lastly is where the virtual knock assistants come into. We've talked a little about this already, but it's going to be doing a lot of the intelligent correlation, the diagnostics, and understanding. Here are a bunch of faults that are associated. We know they're associated because the network understanding provided to us, but we don't know the root cause. Leveraging AI to determine the root cause and, even more importantly, the next best action is where the virtual knock assistant comes into place. The second part is you want a virtual knock supervisor to be able to talk to anytime something's going on so you can understand what is being done, who is doing it. What can you tell me about this problem? And having a conversational interface is important to that. Being able to look and forecast potential faults and understanding here is the trend baseline. We're running out of bandwidth. We're running out of disk. Our usage is growing at an unsustainable rate. These things AI can leverage in to be able to give you a precursor of what could happen or may happen so that you can be proactive as well. And last but not least, the knowledge information. So when you have an engineer involved and they do not have the knowledge of maybe an arcane or ancient platform, you can augment those engineers with the baseline information of a large language model or your own knowledge base or the knowledge base provided to you by a vendor so that they can overcome those skill gaps. All of these provide a unique capability directly within Rapax where you can click in on one of these network intelligent assistants like Wade, and it has the wisdom and knowledge information of what's going on. And you could ask, what do I do in this situation? I don't know this platform. I don't know this device. And it will tell you. Or if you're trying to figure out why we're getting a service alarm and you know for a fact that the service is not having a problem, being able to correct the network understanding and the underleaf with Lane. So Lane is that network engine assistant that will allow you to change topology, connect pieces together that maybe the network doesn't actually know it's connected, and fix that understanding. And these are all part of what Rapax provides out of the box. So the end result you have with Rapax is that real-world transformation, where proactive problem notifications are happening, so that network and engineers can only spend their time growing the network, or they fix things solely within their control. They're not alerted to fix a problem they don't know how to fix, and they can't help just wasting those hours. That higher operational efficiency because the workflows are automated, already reducing the work hours by 85%. The standard outage documentation so that when things happen, the system knows what's going on and is constantly documenting what is being done about it, so that when it comes time to do a post-mortem, all that information is in one place, one report that you can just know what happened. And then lastly, the automated customer notification, so providing the customers the knowledge of why their services isn't down and what is being done about it. So that sets us up for the live demo that I'll take you through right now. So let's see Rapax live in action for this use case of fiber to the home. Let's start with the home page here, and you could see all the 7 key features of Rapax. You can also see everything happening from an event stream perspective. So let's just do a quick tour of all the different features. First, let's talk about the alert console. Now, drilling in here, you can see all the different alerts that's going on in the system, and you can interact with them by clearing the alarm, drilling down to get information, opening a ticket, seeing the correlation, seeing the services that an alarm is impacting, showing parents to children correlation all through here. Now, if I were to jump back, let's talk more about the Device Explorer. So being able to see what Rapax is doing from a network device lens, and I can click in, look at a particular modem that's an alarm and drill down in and see everything from this modem perspective. what the packet loss is, what the availability is, all the information of the model and serial number, looking at it from a performance perspective, looking at all the alarms for that particular device. Again, having full capabilities that I showed you before, but from a network device perspective, looking at it from a topology perspective, and understanding that here is the ONT and here is the OLT and here's the fiber node that it gets access to the internet. And then lastly, looking at the geospatial map, going right on this, being able to drill down in, being able to see everything going on in the network. So that's from a network device perspective. Let's show this from a service perspective. So I can drill down in and be able to see, here's the residential service, the bronze type service that Willie Reed is doing. You can see his phone number information and whether or not this service is currently active. Here's all the information that the billing system has about this service here. What is contact information, how he wants to do it. So you could reach out to Willie Reed right now and send him an email or a text, what the host name and location is for the service. I can drill down into, is it currently an alarm? This is what the alarm, you can drill down in and see what's driving this alarm. You can look at what's being worked on for this alarm. You can then look at just from a service dependency. Here's the different pieces that show this service is currently down and impacted. So jumping back up, I can look at it from an AI assistance perspective. I could drill down in and be able to talk to one of my network assistants. Whether it be Wade, that'll tell me, I'm trying to troubleshoot this problem. What's going on? What should I do? Or Lane and Shane that's saying, there isn't a problem. The network understanding is incorrect, and let's correct that right now so that the next time this problem happens, I don't get alerted. Or maybe you're a manager or VP or a customer, and you want to talk about what's going on from a situation awareness perspective. And I want to reach out and talk to Oscar about that. Or I am trying to fix how Rapax works together, and I want to build new business rules. Whatever these 5 are, I can jump in and talk to them and start working on it right now. Now, I'm just looking at a knowledge base. So I want to talk about how different integrations work, or how the REST API of Rapax works, or how collection and discovery, or how the product architecture works. I can jump in and just look at from a health perspective. Now, I want to see holistically what the fiber map looks like, and then I can drill into different neighborhoods that I have service and understand what that looks like and where my service is located and how everything's connected up. Then lastly, I want to understand from a topology perspective and drill down in and be able to see things like type in a device, increase the number of hops. I want to see a much more complex set of network. And then I can look at it from different topologies. So here is the modem, here is the OLT, here is the fiber node. So that's the key features here. And let me jump back up to the top because I want to go through and start looking at in real time what's going on in the event stream. So imagine this is the bus that connects up to your notification system, or instead of seeing it in the screen, you're going to get a text, you're going to get an email, you're going to get a phone call about these things. So let's just show what the event stream coming in real time. So I'm going to break part of the network. I'm going to take down one of those ONTs, and you can see it's 2935 Montreux Drive. And then this ONT is now down, and I can pull up and take a look at the service impact. So this view, when a service impact alarm comes up, you'll see it just roll in here in real time. So let's watch for that to come in. Okay, it should be coming up here any second where the service impact alarm pops into this display. There we go. So you can see that Emily Rodriguez's service is now down, and this alert has gone through. It also says that something in the neighborhood that Emily Rodriguez, there's some kind of service interruption going on there as well, which of course is the same root cause. Now, what I'm going to do is then reset this and clear this out. So if I go back over to Event Stream, you'll see the clear come in. As you can see here that it's now responding. Everything's doing great. So now that alarm after that clear is going to say, hey, the outage is over, and that network understanding that we've discovered and built in ArrayPax is going to say, now that this part of the network's fixed, that, hey, this service has now been restored. So now you should see that alarm clear. You could see Emily's service is now up, and there's no problems going on in that neighborhood right now. And so that's how the notification system works. In real time, as problems are happening, as you saw in the event stream, Rapax is responding, taking that network understanding of what the devices are, how they're connected, the alarms that are happening, and producing the intelligence of saying, hey, this service is interrupted, and that service is interrupted, or it has been cleared. Exactly what an operations center would do for you. Wrapping up here, Rapax allows operations to transition from cost center to a competitive advantage from higher network margins. With Rapax at your side, monetization of your network will become easier and easier as traditional headaches of running a network just melt away. With an AI native solution, you could stay ahead of your competitors while scaling infinitely. Contact Citus today at http://rapax.app to talk about how Rapax can help you automate your network operations today so you can focus on growing the future network, not firefighting your currently commoditized one. Thanks for checking out all that Rapax can do.